My claim that I'm refuting is that humans are the only intelligent life in the universe. The advocate defines intelligence as being able to communicate, develop society, adapt, and control the environment. By looking at other animals on our planet, we can see that all creatures have at least some level of intelligence. All creatures that have evolved seem to have some level of control over their environment and some ability to adapt. Higher evolved creatures form packs, schools, prides, basically social groups within themselves, a form of society. Even more intelligent creatures are even able to communicate, such as dolphins and chimpanzees have even been able to learn certain sign language, limited. So there are other animals that are able to communicate as well. So although evolution is not directional in appearance or form of the creature, it does seem to be directional towards the intelligence. Just because we're not able to find intelligence on every continent in the same manner as ourselves does not mean that it's directional only in one area. See, many species have gone extinct, and there could have been other species that have had the ability to have the intelligence for ourselves on these other continents as well. We can't dismiss that. Now, the advocate cited several times in his speech a website run by Dr. Hugh Ross. However, the website that the advocate cited in his speech has a possibility for bias because its backing is mainly funded by Christian organizations and churches, and it has no scholarly background or scientific organizations backing it. And Christianity, his whole premise is based upon that humans are the only intelligent life in the universe. So therefore, they have more reason to try to dispute that. In order to determine the normal number of possible planets, Dr. Hugh Ross used the equation by Frank Drake. The equation by Frank Drake takes the average rate of star formation multiplied by the fraction of stars in the galaxy with planets, multiplied by the average number of planets in the star system, multiplied by the fraction of suitable planets for life, multiplied by the fraction of life with some intelligence, multiplied by the fraction of intelligent civilizations possible, multiplied by the approximate lifespan of those civilizations. And Dr. Ross misrepresented this equation to imply that it determined the actual number of intelligent species in the galaxy throughout all time. But this equation is to determine the amount of intelligent species at the current time that we exist. The source can also be biased in the calculation. The determination of the number of stars with planets nearby them is near zero in his calculation. However, he only took a small sample of approximately 67 stars without planets to determine that the entire galaxy has a low planet count. Also, he may have used a similar fraction for his estimate for the fraction that life is intelligent because he does not believe evolution to be directional. Several other people have performed their own calculations using Drake's equation, including Carl Sagan, an astrochemist and doctor of astronomy and astrophysics, and widely recognized as the host of the cosmos. Dr. Carl Sagan's calculation of the Drake equation produces different results. He estimates that there are currently between 10 and 1 million intelligent life forms within our own galaxy. Also, Dr. Amir Axel, Doctor of Statistics, reasons that even if the probability of life overall were so minute, as the advocate stated, that there are so many stars in our galaxy, and plus the number of stars in all the other galaxies, that the probability comes out to 99.999% for intelligent life, at least one point in time and one point in space. So in conclusion, humans are not the only intelligent life. In fact, intelligent life equal to or greater than our own is an inevitability at some point in time in our universe. Thank you.
Whenever you get into these esoteric theoretical arguments, there's always some background that I think you need to bring people up to speed on. The directional notion of evolution needs a little bit more definition. The whole opening section on the issue of intelligence needs to be explained, how it's a little bit more relevant. When you get to the comparison about the intelligence developing on different continents as an analogy, I think you need to explain that a little bit more. However, when you get to the particular challenges, I think some of that becomes clearer, but at that point it's possible that you'll have lost a lot of people following your argument. Even though it's clearer later on, at the beginning, it's just one of those things people roll their eyes and go, well, we're back to how many angels can dance on the head of a pin kinds of discussions here. The challenge on the website and the bias, I think, is a reasonable challenge to make, but you ought to give us the documentation that it is, in fact, backed by a theological group, and that Dr. Ross is not a scientist, but is in some other field. You didn't give us any of those citations. You did explain what the formula was. And apparently lots of people have used this formula. I'm not quite sure where the formula came from or why it's considered reliable by either side in the argument. You explained how it was misrepresented by Dr. Ross. I assume that somebody has explained that to you and you figured that out. I don't know if you just looked at the formula and said, oh, well, that's clearly misrepresentative. If you're quoting somebody, you want to make sure to identify who they are so you gain their credibility on that particular point. I thought that the clearer argument was when the same formula was used by Dr. Sagan in making his inference about the likelihood of millions of possibilities here. And if we're using the exact same formula that the advocate, their source, used, that seems to turn it around quite a bit. The explanation at the end that it is also not necessarily time dependent, I thought was also an interesting way to kind of advance your argument and undermine the position that the advocate was taking. All right, thank you.